The steak was still warm when I handed it over. I remember because my hands were cold, not from the air, but from the kind of stillness that settles in your bones after the engine's been humming too long without moving. I didn't shut it off. I never do. Not when the houses look like that. Not when there's a gate code and cameras and a voice that says, leave it at the door, but doesn't mean the door you can see from the road. You have to walk past the hedges, past the fountain that never turns off, past your own reflection in windows taller than you've ever stood. The food was sealed like treasure, heavy paper bag, gold lettering, one of those velvet cords tying the handles together like a boutique. I could smell the butter before I even touched it. Rich, thick, like it had been poured over something expensive just for the smell. Rosemary too, not the dry kind that flakes off a grocery store jar, the kind that sticks in your throat because it's fresh and real and not yours. I hadn't eaten since coffee, the cheap kind reheated in a gas station microwave, burnt through the lid a little. She didn't open the door all the way, just wide enough to reach through. Her hand had rings, 2 of them. Both looked like they weighed more than the bag. I think I nodded, maybe smiled. I didn't say anything. There wasn't space for a voice. She didn't look up, just took the bag like it was meant to arrive this way, like it appeared by magic, or by me. The gate started closing before I turned around. I heard it, the grind of the motor, the soft whine of something mechanical doing its job without thinking, just like me. The food was probably plated before I even made it to the car. Someone in that house sat down with a glass of wine and didn't think about the fact that I was still reversing, still waiting for the camera to stop blinking red. I stayed in the driveway a second longer than I needed to, just looking, not at the house, at the sky, at the outline of trees that didn't have to worry about gas money or tires that balled faster in the cold. I looked because I didn't want to drive yet. Not because I was tired, just because I didn't want to be a dot on the app again so soon, just because I could still feel the heat from the food in my hands. That's the part I remember. The warmth. Not the tip, I never check right away anymore. Not the address, I couldn't find it again without the app. But the weight of the bag, the way it felt against my palm, the way it reminded me what luxury is. Food that stays warm long enough to be handed to someone who doesn't need it. Sometimes I wonder if they know what it costs. Not money, time, distance, the silence between pings, the drive where you pass your own exit to chase something in a better zip code, the gas that dipped past the halfway mark an hour ago, the breath I hold when I knock, the pause before the door opens, the hope that maybe, just maybe, someone will say, thanks, like they mean it, or like they see me, not the uniform, not the car, just me, but that's rare. Usually the transaction ends in a door frame, or on a welcome mat that cost more than my day's earnings, or on a text that says, leave it there with no punctuation. I've learned to walk quietly, to step back before the door opens, to smile for the camera. Not because it matters, but because it's the only part of me that shows up on screen. The scent clings. That's the cruel part. After I drive away, it stays. In the vents, on my jacket, in the fabric of the seat. I breathe in their dinner for the next 4 orders, and none of it belongs to me. I could describe meals I've never tasted because I've carried them, delivered them, held them while hungry. There was a time I thought this would be temporary. Just a way to stay afloat. Just a few weeks. Just until I figured things out. That was 2 years ago, maybe 3. I stopped counting after the first winter. When I realized I was working more hours and getting less back, when the numbers stopped making sense, when I stopped believing they ever would. Now it's just this: app open, gas tank quarter full, hands smelling like other people's food, hoping the next order won't take me 30 minutes in the opposite direction for $4, hoping the next house isn't at the top of a hill with no lights, hoping I don't see another table set with candles through the window while I'm eating peanut butter crackers in the car. I don't resent them. That's not what this is. It's not about envy. It's about what happens to your insides when you carry someone else's comfort and it never touches your own skin. When you start to feel like a ghost in the middle of other people's abundance, when you realize the gate closes just as fast, whether they tip or not, whether they smile or not, whether you're alive or not. I drove for another 7 hours after that. I remember because I watched the time roll past midnight on the dashboard. The car got quieter, not because it was silent, but because everything else was. No messages, no voices, just the hum of tires and the cold spots on my back where the seat doesn't support right anymore. Somewhere around 3 a.m., I realized I hadn't spoken aloud all day. Not really. Just order for Samantha. Just thank you. Just have a good night. Like lines in a play that I'm not allowed to rewrite. Like a job where the costume changes but the silence doesn't. I don't even know what that house looked like in the daylight. I only saw the porch light and the ring of brightness around her hand. But I can still feel the heat of the steak in that bag. And I think that's the worst part. That I can still feel it. That I still remember. That it stayed with me longer than anyone else did. I know the back roads to every mansion, but not my own future. I know the back roads to every mansion, every shortcut, every street that loops behind the iron gates so the app doesn't flag it as a delay. I know which driveways are steep and slick after rain, which ones don't have numbers on the curb, but still expect you to find them without a single porch light. I know the rhythm of the neighborhoods, the time of day when the orders pick up, when the gates open slower, when the kids are getting dropped off by private drivers who look at me like I'm parked in the wrong place. I know the rhythm of other people's routines better than I know my own. But I couldn't tell you what I'm doing next week. I couldn't tell you what I want or where I'm going or what the point is. I just keep driving. Not towards something, just away from not doing anything. Because not doing anything means the bills catch up. The numbers go red. The tires lose their air faster. The gas light doesn't blink. It glows. Sometimes I catch myself navigating without the GPS. Muscle memory. I make turns before the voice speaks. I hit the brake 2 seconds before the app buzzes. I don't even think anymore. My body reacts. It's like I've downloaded the map into my spine. I know which turns make the back seat rattle, which routes avoid speed bumps, which corners smell like jasmine because someone waters their hedges at night and the air changes. But ask me how long it's been since I've seen a movie or sat at a table to eat or woke up without dread. I wouldn't know. Time doesn't work the same in this car. It stretches, then it collapses. 10 hours pass like fog, silent, shapeless, gone. The only proof I was even awake is the soreness in my lower back and the red marks the seatbelt leaves on my shoulder. The worst part is I used to know where I was going, not the addresses, the life part. I had a picture in my head, a vague one maybe, but it had edges. Now, everything's just doors, gates, driveways, keypads. I punch in their codes like I'm part of the system, like I belong, but I don't. I never do. I'm a visitor, a service, a pair of hands holding something hot and expected. I can't remember the last time someone opened the door without looking past me, like they were waiting for something better to show up, like I was the commercial break between their order and their comfort. They don't see me. Not really. They see what I bring, what they paid for. And that's fair, I guess. That's what the job is. But after a while, it starts to scrape something inside you. When the only thing people want from you is to be invisible, efficient, and gone. When you learn to make your voice soft enough not to bother them, but clear enough to count as professional. When you know that a smile might mean a tip, but also might mean nothing. I've delivered to penthouses where the doorman doesn't even glance at me, just points to the elevator like I'm on autopilot. I've left dinner at the feet of doors that cost more than I've made all year. Sometimes the bag tilts a little, the food shifts. I try to fix it gently so the customer doesn't get annoyed, so I don't get docked, so the rating stays clean. I remember homes better than I remember people. The mansion with the lion statues, the place with the blue door and the broken intercom, the condo where the hallway smelled like lemon oil and perfume. I carry these places like ghosts. I don't know who lives inside. I never see them twice. But the architecture lingers, like it matters more than the people. There's something sick about that I can navigate luxury but not my own life, that I can reverse down a curved driveway without looking, but I freeze when someone asks me what I want out of this. I don't know what I want. I want to stop counting miles. I want my legs to stop aching when I stand up after waiting too long in a parking lot. I want to stop eating cold snacks out of a glove compartment because I'm afraid to waste 5 minutes looking for food. The car isn't just transportation anymore. It's my second skin. The upholstery's torn on the edge of the seat. The cup holder's sticky from something I spilled last month and never cleaned up. The smell, fast food, coffee, stress, it doesn't leave. I've stopped trying to mask it. It's part of me now. I keep a blanket in the trunk, not because it's cold, just in case I get too tired and need to sleep. I don't plan for it. But it's happened. After long shifts, after days when I thought I'd only do a few hours and then ended up chasing the night, the blanket smells like gasoline and defeat. But it's better than nothing. I used to have playlists for driving. Now I just let the GPS talk. I like the silence between her instructions. It feels like breathing, like space, like a pause in a day that doesn't pause for anything. There are times I drive past my own apartment and don't stop. Not because I don't want to go home, but because I don't know what to do when I'm not driving, when I'm not chasing the next ping, the next few dollars, the next proof that I'm still useful to someone somewhere. I think I've forgotten what it's like to arrive. I only know transit now, only motion, only in between. I'm always in someone else's neighborhood, someone else's lane, someone else's orbit. And somewhere along the way, I stopped asking when it would end. I just started asking how much longer I could keep going. Not because I have a plan, just because I don't know what's left if I stop. I know the way to every mansion, but I couldn't draw a map to myself, not anymore. The engine's loud enough to hide the cracks in my voice. The engine's loud enough to hide the cracks in my voice. That low hum, it fills everything, covers the silence, covers the breath I take when I realize it's been hours since I spoke to anyone who wasn't a voice assistant. Sometimes I forget how my own voice sounds unless I say my name out loud to a security guard. And even then it doesn't sound like mine. Just something borrowed, something flat. I keep the engine running more than I should. I know it's eating gas. I know I'm wasting money, but I've grown used to the way it vibrates through the floor of the car, through the seat, into my spine. It's like a second heartbeat now, one I can control, one that doesn't skip or stall when the day goes sideways. The back seat is a graveyard of bags, fast food wrappers with grease bleeding through, a half-full water bottle I can't remember opening, napkins crumpled and tossed down there like dead leaves. One of them stiff, stained from the night I didn't cry, but something still leaked out. The cup holder's sticky again. I wiped it down last week, I think, or the week before. It doesn't matter, everything comes back. The smell of stale coffee, the cold sandwich I didn't finish, the corner of the receipt poking my thigh, the sound the app makes when it buzzes at 2 a.m., and I say yes, not because I want to, but because I can't afford to say no. I've slept in this car more times than I want to admit. I tell myself it's just resting, just a nap, but my neck doesn't believe me. Neither does my spine. There's a permanent curve in my back now, a tension that never releases. I can stretch, I can twist, I can even lie flat on the floor when I get desperate, but nothing fixes the ache. It's like my body's molding to the shape of this life. I don't know what day it is most of the time. I know rent is due soon. I know the phone bill hit my account last night. I know I haven't done laundry in 2 weeks because I've been choosing gas over quarters, but I couldn't tell you if it's Tuesday or Thursday. It all feels the same, like a long road with no signs. The car is always colder at night. No matter the season, there's a particular chill that settles in when you've been driving too long without turning the heat on, trying to save what little fuel you've got left. I've wrapped myself in a hoodie I found in the trunk once. Didn't even know it was there. It smelled like an old version of myself, one that thought this would be temporary, one that still laughed sometimes. There's a tear in the lining of the driver's seat. I trace it with my fingers when I'm waiting for the next order, just to feel something textured, something not made of pixels or pressure. It's a small thing, but it holds me there, like a thread back to the physical world. I've started measuring my life in vibrations, the buzz of the app, the rattle of the glove compartment when I hit a pothole, the hum of the tires on the freeway late at night when no one else is out but me and the other ghost trying to squeeze another few dollars out of the dark. There's a spot near the right rear tire that's worn thin. I check it more than I check my own reflection. I don't look in mirrors much anymore. There's nothing new to see. Just the same tired eyes, the same face that's learned how to smile without meaning it, the same skin that's gone dull from too many hours under fluorescent gas station lights. I once pulled up to a house with lights so bright they burned my eyes. Not metaphorically, actually, it was a mansion on a hill. Glass everywhere. Spotlights shining down the driveway like a stage. I squinted the whole walk up. Felt small. Not because of the house, but because of what it meant. That someone lives in that kind of light while I'm crouched in shadows most of the time, eating crackers in a parked car. I don't think people understand what it does to you. Not the driving, not the hours, but the in-between, the waiting, the scrolling, the sitting, the hoping, the wondering if this next order will pay enough to make the day worth something. The dread when it doesn't. You learn to stop hoping, you just start moving. Forward, to the next ping, to the next parking lot, to the next silent lobby with fake plants and elevator music. I've stood in more lobbies than I've stood in kitchens, and I live alone. Sometimes I forget how to rest, even when I have the chance. I lie down and my body twitches, expecting another buzz, another notification, another task. I sleep with my phone on my chest, face up like it's my lifeline. Because it is. I remember a night, maybe 2 months ago, maybe more, I was parked outside a restaurant waiting for an order to be ready. I leaned back, closed my eyes, just for a second, and I dreamed. In that few minutes, I actually dreamed. I was in a house I didn't recognize. There was warmth, a table, food I didn't have to deliver, and someone's voice calling me by my name. When the app buzzed, I woke up so fast my chest hurt. I didn't remember the dream until later, and then I couldn't stop thinking about it. About how even my subconscious is craving something I can't reach. This isn't a tragedy. That's the part people don't get. It's not some big dramatic downfall. It's slow, it's quiet. It's made of little things like the ache in my wrist from gripping the wheel, the way I flinch when my phone buzzes now, the way I no longer text back friends because I don't know what to say. What would I even tell them? That I'm surviving? That I'm still in the same place I was a year ago? Just a little more worn down? I'm not angry, I'm just hollow. Like the sound the door makes when I close it at the end of the night. Not a slam, just a soft click that says, I've made it through another shift. Sometimes I drive with the window down, even when it's cold, just to feel something sharp. Something that reminds me I still have skin, that I'm still here. The engine masks the noise, the doubts, the sadness, the questions. But when I park, when I shut it off, the silence comes rushing in like a wave I'm not ready for. And I sit there, in the dark, listening to my breath, wondering if I've become part of the car. And the truth is, I think I have. I'm the line between convenience and guilt. The worst part is how smooth it all feels now. I pull up, I wait, I walk up the steps, place the bag on the mat, take the picture, back to the car, engine on, swipe complete. No contact, no voice, no moment, just movement. I've become a step in someone else's routine, a bridge they walk over without looking down. I make their life easier. That's what the app says. That's what the whole system is built on. Ease, convenience, swipe, and forget. But I can't forget. Not when I'm still sitting there, eating the crackers I bought with tip money from someone who couldn't even meet my eyes. It used to sting, the way people avoided me. Now it just dulls, a kind of background ache. Like the noise from the leaf blower that one guy used to dry his boat. I remember that. Pulled up to a place on the water, massive house, big glass windows, stone steps that didn't even creak. And there he was, midday, sun out, just blowing water off his boat like it was dust. Didn't even glance my way. I left the food on a chair by the dock. He waved without turning. Not at me, just in the general direction of service. Like acknowledgement was too much effort. I sat in the car after that, watching the boat sparkle in the light. I was parked 2 blocks down, hidden behind hedges so I wouldn't be in the way. Ate half a gas station sandwich and told myself it was enough. It wasn't, but it had to be. That's what this job is. You make things easy for other people, while your own life gets harder by the minute. Sometimes I think I'm the buffer between them and guilt. Like if I'm fast enough, polite enough, invisible enough, they don't have to feel anything. Not discomfort, not responsibility, not even a flicker of human connection. I disappear the second they get what they ordered. And that's the point. That's the service. I've learned the difference between warmth and kindness. Some people leave nice tips. Some leave nothing. Some say thanks without looking up. But real kindness, that's rare. That's the person who waits at the door just to say hi, or asks if you're staying safe, or says your name out loud like it matters, like you're not just an app function, a delivery slot, a name they don't expect to remember. But even that feels strange now. I don't know what to do with kindness anymore. It hits weird, like sunlight after too much dark. I flinch, then I nod, then I drive away faster than I need to because part of me doesn't want to believe it was real. There's this building downtown with gold trim around the windows. Real gold, I think, or something that looks like it. I deliver there a lot, sushi mostly, high-end stuff, fancy packaging, delicate. I carry it like it's glass, even when I'm starving. Even when the bag is warmer than my own hands. I see the glow through the windows, big chandeliers, tables that look like they've never been touched. And I sit downstairs in my car, in the loading zone, breaking a granola bar in half and pretending it's dinner. The glow from those rooms doesn't reach me. I'm too far down, too outside. And the thing is, I've stopped wanting to be in there. I don't need the room. I just want to stop being the thing they use to get it without having to feel anything. It's like I've become a wall, a soft wall, one they throw money at so they don't have to walk to the door, so they don't have to think about the person carrying their meal through traffic, through exhaustion, through the kind of quiet that doesn't end when the engine stops. I used to think efficiency was something to be proud of. That being fast, being quiet, being reliable, that it meant I was doing good work. But now I think it just means I've learned how to erase myself better. I don't knock too loud, I don't linger, I don't ask for anything, not even recognition. And in return, I get silence, closed doors, gated entries that buzz me in and forget I was ever there. Keypads that light up with codes I memorize for 30 seconds and never again. I move through spaces that were never meant to hold me. I touch the edges of wealth and leave fingerprints no one sees. There's a sadness that comes with being this useful, like your worth is tied to your ability to disappear, to deliver and vanish, to smile and not take up space. And I've been doing it for so long, I don't even question it anymore. I just keep going, keep serving, keep folding myself smaller so they can stretch out without feeling the corners. Once I delivered a full birthday spread. Balloons, cake, catering trays, the whole thing. The house was glowing from the inside. Music playing, kids laughing, parents milling around with champagne. I knocked. A man opened the door halfway and said, "Just leave it there." I did. He didn't even stop talking on the phone. I sat in my car for 10 minutes afterward, staring at the dashboard. It wasn't envy. It wasn't even sadness. It was something colder, like realization that I'm part of a system that celebrates while I wait outside, that I'm the one who brings the joy in, but never gets to touch it. They call it flexibility. They say I set my own schedule, but I haven't taken a full day off in weeks, maybe months. I don't even know anymore. Because every time I slow down, something slips. A bill, a meal, a bit of stability. And every time I speed up, I lose a little more of myself. The efficiency they praise? It's just survival with a smile. It's me driving faster so I can accept the next order. It's me saying, sure, to a double delivery that sends me 30 minutes in opposite directions for a few extra dollars that'll barely cover gas. It's me pretending I'm okay with all of it, because pretending takes less energy than explaining what it actually feels like. And what it feels like is hollow. Not angry, just used up, like I've poured so much of myself into other people's convenience that I've got nothing left to come home to. Sometimes I pass by people walking with their families, holding coffee cups, laughing, and I wonder, do they know I'm here? Not here? like physically, here, like in the middle of their comfort, facilitating it, keeping it smooth, keeping it effortless? Do they even know there's a person behind the app? Or am I just another tap on the screen they'll forget by dinner? I don't need them to feel guilty. That's not what I'm saying. I just want to feel like a person again, not a delivery, not a number, not the thing they use to avoid the world. Because while they're resting, I'm unraveling. And the worst part is, I've learned how to do it quietly. So quietly, they'll never hear the sound. I think I just wanted someone to look at me like I wasn't delivery. I think I just wanted someone to look at me like I wasn't delivery. Not like I was late, not like I was early, not like I was the app. Just like I was there, present, breathing, real. I've been handed tips without eye contact. I've said, "Have a good night" to closed doors. I've waited at gates that opened slower than the shift ended. But I can't remember the last time someone looked at me like I mattered, not for what I was bringing, but for being the one who brought it. There's a silence that comes after every drop-off. It's not peace, it's not calm, it's absence. Something missing, something you expected and didn't get. I walk back to the car, open the door, sit down, and the silence is louder than anything I heard on the way there. The seat is still warm from me, the bag is gone, the moment is over. I'm just another body in another car waiting for another order. The rearview mirror always shows me, just me, and I stare at myself sometimes, not to check my face, not to fix my hair, but because it's the only face that looks back. I've become something that passes through places without staying long enough to be seen. I could disappear, and the only proof I was ever there would be a timestamp and a photograph of a paper bag on someone's welcome mat. I'm not angry, I'm not even sad, really. I'm just worn thin, like fabric that's been washed too many times. Still holding together, but barely. Still doing the job, but unraveling at the edges. My smile doesn't reach my eyes anymore. My thank you sounds like it's coming from another room. I used to believe in work, in doing a job well, in being proud of showing up. But now it just feels like a trade. I trade my time for money, I trade my back for ratings, I trade the last bit of patience I have for one more 5-star review from someone who didn't even read my name. I've gotten good at being polite under pressure, at folding myself into the role, at making sure my tone is right. Pleasant but not pushy, warm but not familiar, friendly but forgettable. There's a kind of ache that comes from having to be likable just to survive, not respected, not seen, just rated, evaluated like a product, smiled at like a billboard, judged by how fast I move and how little I ask. I delivered a birthday cake once, big one, white frosting, pink roses piped along the edges, said, "Happy birthday, Madison," in perfect cursive. I remember because I was hungry, and the smell of sugar hit me so hard I felt dizzy. I hadn't eaten since noon. It was almost 8. The house was massive, balloons tied to the gate. Someone's 7th birthday, maybe. I handed the box to a woman in a black dress. She barely looked up. I turned before the door even closed. Didn't want to be in the picture. I sat in the car afterward and stared at my hands. They were shaking a little. I didn't cry. I just didn't move. For a long time, because I realized something. That cake was going to be the center of someone's celebration. It was going to be in pictures, in memories, in stories they'd tell later, and I would be erased before the candles were even lit. The app dinged again. I forgot my name for a second. That happens sometimes. I hear the sound and all I can think is, where, how far, how much. I don't think of myself as a person in those moments. I'm a driver. I'm a unit. I'm motion. And when the shift ends, when I finally shut the phone off, when the screen goes dark, it's like stepping off a treadmill that was still moving. I feel everything at once, the stiffness in my back, the pressure in my chest, the hunger, the quiet. I scroll through the earnings and try to make it make sense, try to stretch the numbers into something that looks like enough. But even when it adds up, it never feels full. Like eating a meal with no salt, like breathing in air that doesn't smell like home. I don't go inside right away. I sit in the car with the engine off, listening to the ticking sound it makes when it cools down, watching the condensation build up on the windows. Sometimes I write things in the fog with my finger. Just shapes, nothing important. Just proof that I was there. I think I miss being expected. Not by the app, not by the timer, but by a person. I miss being someone's arrival, not just a delivery. I miss sitting across from someone who knew my name without looking at a receipt. I miss conversations that weren't transactions. There's a spot on the dashboard where the light always hits at a weird angle. It shows all the dust. I wipe it, but it comes back. Always comes back, like me, back to the same streets, the same gates, the same locked doors. Someone once told me I looked tired, not a customer, not even a friend, just a stranger in a gas station. Said it casually, like a comment on the weather. I laughed, but it stayed with me, because it was the most honest thing anyone said in a while. I am tired. But not in the way sleep can fix. It's a different kind of tired, the kind that settles in your reflection, the kind that makes silence feel heavy, the kind that makes you forget what it felt like to wake up without worry. I don't know what I believe in anymore. Not in progress, not in systems, not even in brakes. I believe in motion, in keeping the wheels turning, in answering the next ping. Because stopping means thinking, and thinking means feeling. And I'm too far gone for that tonight. There's a part of me that still hopes someone will see me, just once. Not as a delivery, not as the last step before their meal, but as a person who's been driving all day, who skipped lunch to make it on time, who's trying to stay human in a job that doesn't require it. I think I just wanted someone to say my name like it mattered, like it belonged to something more than a profile picture and a star rating. I think I just wanted... Anyway, the phone just buzzed again.